To today's map test tournament. This was a smaller map test tournament compared to last week, so there is less games overall. Most of them were PvP, but we do have a ZVP in there as well. So we're going to start with that one, but let's have a look at the map quickly. So it's obviously been well, we've never seen this map in a tournament, but it is very reminiscent of Luna, if you ever saw or played on that map back in the day. And basically, it's a pretty standard macro map. It's very difficult for anyone to really break your third once you have it, although your third is a little bit further away than, say, somewhere on Fighting Spirit. But if you can defend the two chokes you have, it's basically impossible to get through, so it's very easy to move and get a fourth base as well. So I think we might have a lot of macro games if we have this in the main season. But let's get started with game number 1, and we can go from there. Okay, starting us off here in the bottom right hand corner is the blue Protoss player fighting for red. It's Fisheye. And his opponent spawning up here in the top left hand position in the... I guess this is like the off green. It is going to be Mitak fighting for Sai. Just in case you guys aren't aware as well, Sai have returned for Season 4, so they're going to be back here for the first time in a season. They did take a break for Season 3 because a lot of them were quite busy. Now this is a relatively standard map, so of course you do have the wallable area for Protoss. It looks like you will start with probably the... I think it's the Forge above Gateway, isn't it? So you have the Gateway here, Forge here. I can never remember how Protoss players wall in. I've casted like over probably over 2,000 StarCraft games at this point, and I still can't remember the Protoss wall-ins or anything, but that's fine. All good. Hopefully you guys are having a good weekend so far. I was actually going to cast yesterday, and then work finished, and I decided to, because I had a bad week at work, I was like, you know what, I'm going to have a couple of drinks, and then I completely forgot that I was going to cast, so I was like, well, I'm kind of a little bit tipsy right now, probably shouldn't cast like this, so so I got them to move the event to today. So I was kind of glad I managed to do that. We are just probably around 4 weeks away from the start of Season 4. We'll probably start in November once the time goes back to normal. So looking forward to that. There's still a lot of stuff I need to make and a lot of stuff I need to do, and I'm still being incredibly lazy, so we'll have to see how that goes. Hopefully I can figure this stuff out. But we've got a hatch first coming in from Mitak into a spawning pool. Very standard build here. We do have the Forge coming in. I think this is actually a Nexus first before the Forge, which is a little bit risky. Could mean the Fisheye could be in a little bit of trouble, but given the fact he is against the hatch first, it's kind of the counter play almost. We should see a cannon coming in because he still does not know where his opponent is, going out to check the other main first. As this is a relatively standard map, all the bases are full minerals, full gas. You know what, while this is going on, let's have a quick look. So obviously you have the other naturals. It is a 4-player map, but the third base is 5,000 gas. And the normal amount of minerals. I think you can wall in this bridge, but unlike something like La Mancha, this bridge is a little bit wider from what I can tell, but it is still hard to push across with a big army. I mean, this is a relatively big choke you have to defend, as well as this bridge, if you want to defend this third base, but if we zoom out a little bit, you'll see that you only have to really defend here. And the middle is actually quite choked up. If we zoom right out, you'll see that this is really the only area that big armies can move through. So if you can hold on to this area here and this bridge, it becomes a lot easier to take a fourth base. Although, of course, in the case of this game, that would be here most likely, or here for Fisheye. It looks like Mitak is playing a little bit greedy, going for a third base fairly quickly, although he is trying to get ahead of the Protoss, who is economically ahead at the moment. Now, we did have another map tournament today. That was for Charmander, and that is currently just about to finish up. So hopefully we will be able to cast that probably tomorrow, or most likely Wednesday, and then, oh, not tomorrow, Monday, and then most likely Wednesday, and then then tomorrow we also have another map test tournament for Paradise, which is the 2-player map by Gosomi. If you want to check that out, here is a link. There is a link to sign up. The prize pool for that tournament is going to be $10. It's not much, but given we don't get too many people signing up for these map test tournaments, you're quite likely to be in a position where you can get quite far. So always worth doing. And we do it seems to be mostly Protoss players who decide to actually join these. So I think Protoss players maybe aren't as scared of new maps, or maybe they just really desperately need money. But we had 5 sign-ups for today. One player unfortunately didn't check in, so I guess they signed up without realizing if they'd be free or not. And the other 4 players, all 4 of them were Protoss. So yeah, we're gonna have a lot of PvPs on Charmander. So that's going to be interesting. I suppose we are just getting kind of ready for the main tournament, given it is the Shin Han Tank Protoss League throughout Season 1, 2, and 3, so I guess we're going to be continuing that tradition moving into Season 4. Now we've got the Citadel up, 4 Fisheye, 4 gateways already. Looks like he is going to get ready to do a big timing attack here off of his 2 bases with a lot of +1, a lot of speed zealots, and is Mitak going to be able to defend against this? Looks like no drones were killed at the 3rd base just yet. The Zealots kind of running in, finding the sunken colony, and running away. Sorry, I do apologize for my lack of energy. I probably shouldn't have drunk last night, but here we go. I've been nursing a hangover all morning, so please forgive me. Drinking on VR is fun though. Hanging around with people drinking. It's just like it's like going to a friend's house, basically, but obviously where Corona's a thing right now, we can't really do that. So just hanging out on VR with people, talking shit, basically. It's really fun. Quest 2 comes out in 12 days, excited about that for sure. Definitely looking forward for that. And Star Wars Squadrons, by the way, is absolutely incredible. It looks like speed and +1 has kicked in. Is Mitak actually going to be able to defend this? There's actually 2 drones behind the minerals. Not really sure what they're doing back here. But there is the 2 Sunkens. Are they going to be enough to defend against this many Zealots, though? There's so many Zealots coming in behind this as well. I think Mitak may go down here. This base is 100% going to go down, I think. Drones are strong, but Zealots are stronger. And even with the wall, he cannot keep the Zealots away from those Sunkens. Looks like he wants to get another couple of creep parties behind the minerals, but at what cost? This is just so many Zealots. I mean, there is 2 hatcheries here, so even if one does go down, it's not the end of the world, but this Sunken is going to go down before it finishes. Probably should cancel that. Not going to be able to do that. The last Sunken, it is in a very good spot. There's only 2 Zealots that can hit it, but unfortunately the fact 2 Zealots can hit it is more than enough to kill it before one of the Zealots dies. And GG, Mitak taps out. And Fisheye takes game number 1. Well, he takes the first round, and also kicks the only, he kicks the only Zerg into the loser bracket. So a little bit unfortunate there for our Protoss hero, but unfortunately that's the way the cookie crumbles. Looks like we did miss out on a couple of replays, so we don't have his losers bracket replay either. So we're just going to continue on. We're going to move on to LML versus Fisheye. What we'll do is we'll follow Fisheye through the tournament, I guess, and we'll do that when we get back in just a second.
STPL Season 3. Yeah. STPL das. Bio TVP? Wow! No problem. We got dragons to defend. Yeah! STPL Dusk. STPL Dusk. Mass Scout? Oh, I'm so afraid. We got Hydralisk to defend. Yes! STPL. STPL. Fantastic production. Fantastic casters. Fantastic prize pool. Only in STPL.
I'm about to overload my aggression inhibitors. Outstanding. Rock and roll.
Have I had myself muted this entire time? Oh my goodness. Okay, so spawning in the bottom right hand corner in the white is going to be Fisheye. Spawning in the top left is going to be LML. This is the first time in STPL that we've actually had two red players fighting against each other, I think. Now, every game after this is going to be a PvP, so it really is the Shinhan Tank a Protoss League, because I mentioned this to LML earlier, because LML and Fisheye both signed up again to the STPL. We've got double gates in the middle, by the way. Both of them signed up again, along with a load of Protoss players as well. So Protoss players don't seem to be too scared of new maps. Cannot believe I was muted for that entire time. But basically, here we are. We've got proxy 2 gate against 1 gate into core. Now, is LML going to be able to scout this? His probe is most likely not going to go through to check that in the middle unless he goes to cross scout now. This is a very, very important moment in this game. Is he going to see this? Is LML really going to scout this? Why is he going this way? Oh my god, he did. LML, the god, sees the 2 gates in the middle of the map, but you're going to see him put down a gateway immediately on 150 minerals. I think it's 150 minerals, isn't it? Yep. We've got a pylon coming up. This will be for a shield battery if he can do it. We've got probes pulled already. Yeah, no, I know it was a mute before. I just meant the entire time through the second game. That doesn't matter too much. But this could be a very quick game. We've got 2 gates, the second gateway coming up. The probe has gone down immediately. Now it's going to be probes and zealots versus it's going to be probes and a zealot versus 2 zealots and a probe. Looks like we've got Fisheye trying to do some damage. Looks like you two didn't post this on top versus bottom, by the way, so we can't switch the colors. So this is very confusing. This is why I put that rule in for certain in the main season. But we've actually got 3 Zealots back at home now. And this is looking pretty good here for Fisheye. LML did scout it very quickly. Is there a probe up here still? I don't think there is a probe for Fisheye, so he's not going to be able to build a shield battery here. There is a shield battery back at home for LML. Let's actually bring up the Zealot health, not that this helps us too much. You can see there's only 2 Zealots remaining for LML, and Fisheye is doing a very, very good job with his target firing here, but it is still 3 versus 3. Now it looks like 3 versus 2 again. No, there we go. All of LML Zealots die. It's 5 Zealots against 0. It's GG. And that's going to take us into our 3rd game of the test tournament stream. See you guys in just a sec. Toss a coin to your content creators, oh Valley of Plenty, oh Valley of Plenty, oh. Toss a coin to your content creators, a friend of humanity. Toss a coin to your content creators, oh Valley of Plenty, oh Valley of Plenty, oh. Toss a coin to your content creators, a friend of humanity. Toss a coin to your content creators, oh Valley of Plenty, oh Valley of Plenty, oh. Toss a coin to your content creators, a friend of humanity. Okay guys, welcome back to our 3rd game. We are going to be here in the losers bracket with LML, who just fell to Fisheye, up against Aeternum. I think I've said his name right. Aeternum, yeah, cool. So we have Gosami in chat as well. He is the creator of this map. Unfortunately, Gosami, we haven't had too many games on this map other than PvPs, so every game after this is a PvP as well. But it's more than likely that we will see a lot more games on this in the future, so looking forward to it. Starting us up in the top right is Aeternum. Down here in the bottom left is going to be LML. Once again in this peach color. You played a PvZ against DeWalt on this map in between tournament games. Oh, okay. That's cool. Yeah, Protoss tai Protoss. Great matchup. I don't mind PvP. We had some proxy gates in the last game. I don't think we're going to see another player do that again. Fisher actually cheesed LML out the tournament with, well, he cheesed him into the losers bracket and then had to go. So that was why I was so confused in between the games. Because Fisheye lost, but LML advanced, and then LML was also in the losers bracket. So I was incredibly confused. I think what happened is LML advanced, played against DeWalt, must have lost, and then he got put into the losers bracket against Aeternum. Because Aeternum played against Creative and then won that game, and then got into here. So the whole like dual bracket tournament, like with a winners and losers or winners and losers bracket, confuses the hell out of me every single time. I don't know why. It doesn't matter how much I look at them. I think it's because there's so few players, it's more confusing. I think the more you've got, the easier it is to understand. But like the winners and losers match thing, where you have like the bracket reset in the final, like I can never get my head around how that worked. So in the STPL map tournaments, we've just got it. So basically you have just the one match at the end. So the finals is going to be a best of 3 again. LML is going to block Aeternum from being able to scout him. Looks like Aeternum should be able to do the same. No, the probe sneaks by and will scout exactly what he needs to in the main. And Aeternum is going to be feeling pretty good about this. Now, I did mention this before, but this is a relatively standard map, so even though PvP is probably going to look a little bit funky, because PvP always does, I get the feeling we're probably going to have a relatively normal set of games on the other matchups. I think this is definitely one of the most standard maps we've had in the map tournament and also the STPL in general, so kind of cool to see this map here. It is kind of like a modern imagining of Luna, which is kind of cool as well, because Luna was a good map back in the day. Robo coming in for LML. Looks like we don't have any additional tech coming in just yet for Aeternum, so this could actually really favor LML here. I'm not really sure what Aeternum's saving up for. Maybe he's planning to go for a Nexus. That could be a pretty big deal, but no, looks like it is going to be a Robo, just a lot later than LML's. I think LML skipped his Dragoon. Yeah, he skipped his Dragoon early, whereas Aeternum went for 2 Dragoons. So Aeternum's going to be able to be... Okay, so LML got 1 Dragoon rather than 2. But basically, Aeternum should be able to be a little bit more aggressive in the early game if he wants to, but he is going to have to worry when this support bay comes in. Support bay builds incredibly quickly, by the way. So this Reaver is going to be on the way almost immediately. This is a very quick Reaver. The shuttle about to finish up already. I do wonder if we'll see a shuttle coming in from this Robo. We've got double gateway coming in for Aeternum, whereas LML is going to stick to the 1. Reaver starts up immediately. Is the shuttle going to start up immediately here? Looks like his minerals are a little bit off. Are we going to see the shuttle? No, it's going to be the observatory, so we're not going to see a Reaver, at least right away from Aeternum. I get the feeling he's going to go for a Robo support mate after this here. Nope, going to be an additional pylon. With the tech advantage... Oh no. Oh no, he's built 2 observatories. He's built his buildings around the wrong way, I think. There we go, he cancels one. That was very lucky. He almost built the 2 observatories there. That would have been A little bit funny. At least he could go for the double upgrades on his observers. But he is definitely going to be missing the Robo Support Bay here. He needs that very, very quickly. First observer is on the way. We've got LML getting ready to push across the map already here. And LML's army is looking pretty fierce, but he is going to be up against 2 gateways. There is going to be a Reaver eventually, and it doesn't have too far to waddle to get to the ramp. It doesn't even have to move. So if Aeternum can just get to his high ground, he should be in a pretty good spot here. Now, Aeternum is being a little bit sheepish here with his observer. Doesn't want to lose it in the middle of the map, especially given he built it so fast. But this is going to be the problem. The Reaver and the Dragoons and the Zealots. Is Aeternum going to be able to hold on to this? A pylon coming up at the front to help try and defend against this. Good positioning by Aeternum, by the way. This is a really, really nice position. We've got the Reaver on the way. LML's second Reaver should almost be done. No observer for him, of course, but there's no DTs for him to worry about. Aeternum getting full vision over the units. He sees the Reaver flying towards his main, so he immediately moves his Dragoons over. And is he going to be able to snipe this before losing a load of probes? Looks like LML with Star Sense there. Well, okay, so he actually saw them in the end, but okay, this shuttle has like insane vision range, like way more than I thought it did. But he does see that, pulls back, doesn't need to worry about anything too much now. We've got the Reaver on the high ground, which is going to make this very difficult to push up, but also very difficult to push down. So LML going to get ready to expand. Looks like a probe trying to find its way out. Looks like Aeternum wants to move his way down. This Reaver in a very risky position. The second Scarab doesn't even fire. And this is not looking good here for Aeternum. LML is in such a good position, but the Reaver is out on its own. The shuttle went back home to pick up the second Reaver. Aeternum jumping down, but taking a ton of damage on all of his units. And I think this could be the end of game number... Well, I don't even know what game in the tournament this was, but the game between Aeternum and LML. Because the second Reaver has come out, it's being targeted immediately. The probes have been pulled. But if he has no units, how does he defend against the second Reaver? How does he even defend against these Dragoons? LML's micro really good, pulling these back. The probes barely mining. And this shuttle is going to be flying in a second, and there is absolutely no recompense for this. And I still need to update Moobot. The Maturino has already been paid out, so don't try and add money to it. It won't work. You can support via Patreon though, if you do so well. It looks like the second Reaver coming in. Doesn't even look like he wants to go for the probes. He is just going to go for the Jugular, go for all of the units. Another Reaver coming out, going to go down immediately. No shuttle here to keep that alive. And now all the probes are sitting on top of where the Reaver is, and that was a massive Scarab. This game is done. LML is going to be advancing on to the finals. This was the loser finals, so I want to see how many units this has killed. Stop building Scarabs, LML. Damn it. Damn it, LML. Stop being so efficient with your Scarab building. It's not fair. Okay, so we'll be back in just a couple of minutes with the best of 3 between DeWalt and LML. See you guys in a second.
STPL Season 3. Yeah. STPL DAS. Bio TVP? Wow! No problem. We got dragons to defend. Yeah. STPL DAS. STPL DAS. Mass Scout? Oh, I'm so afraid. We got Hydralisks to defend. Yes. STPL. STPL. Fantastic production. Fantastic casters. Fantastic price pool. Only in STPL.
I'm about to overload my aggression inhibitors.
Outstanding. Rock and roll.
Okay guys, welcome back. We're going to be heading into game number 1 of the finals of the STPL Season 4 map contest number 2. This is going to be DeWalt versus LML. DeWalt made his way through the winners bracket. LML made his way back through the losers bracket. And overall, I mean, these two are pretty good players. DeWalt, one of the best players in the STPL. Even when you include the Koreans, DeWalt has one of the best sets of what am I saying? Oh man, I've forgotten how to English. I've forgotten how to do everything today. But yeah, DeWalt, compared to everyone else in the STPL, has won more games, I think, than anybody when you look at all of his stats. He's won 53 games overall, and he's played 69 games. No. Yes. 69 games, and he's won an insane amount. He's number 4 in the STPL rankings overall. LML is a little bit lower than that. The LML is still pretty good in PvP. He's definitely had a lot of PvP practice recently as well, given how many PvPs he's played in the STPL map test tournaments, which is kind of cool. But we've got one gateway into gas for both players, and I accidentally turned off DeWalt's vision. So we've got both players scouting actually quite late. You'll notice that neither player has really seen where each other is. LML scouting cross positions this time, just to make sure he doesn't get cheesed out again like he did in the previous game. Fisheye did cheese him out there. Oh, well, not in the previous game, in the game before the one we just saw. But that was a proxy 2 gate in the middle of the map. DeWalt also doing exactly the same thing, so both of them checking the middle. Looks like this is a spot where you can maybe build a turret or a pylon or something. Looks like there's a few of them in the unbuildable terrain. Kind of like how Neo Medusa did it, and other maps where there's lots of unbuildable terrain in the middle. If you don't know this, this is all unbuildable terrain, so it means you can't just sit there and just build a million turrets in the middle of the map. It makes it very difficult for Terran to push through the middle without a vessel, because you can't turret push, which is very, very useful to be able to do. Means you can push a lot slower than you normally would do, but still have kind of a base of operations behind you. But of course this is a PvP, and all the games from now will be PvPs. But this seems like it could be a fun map. As far as I'm aware, there was no major issues with it. Like the map today, there was issues with the minerals mining, so we've had to speak to the map creator to get that fixed. But that is why we're doing these map test tournaments, so we can find out if there's any bugs and they can be fixed. So I'm just gonna say that Gosami has done a really, really good job on this map with all the texturing. The texturing on this map looks really, really nice. There was one bug. Apparently when you're on the low ground, you can actually see the high ground a little bit more than maybe you should do, like here. So that looks like a little bit of a bug. I'll bring that up with Freakling, because I think it's probably just a little bit of a problem with the high ground vision of that specific part of the ramp. When Freakling was going through everything with me, he was showing me some examples of some maps with like bad stuff on them, and it looks like the tiles, so the tiles that you see make up this ramp, some of them, to do certain bits, they'll have like you can see the individual tiles of the map here, but basically some of them will be counted as low ground rather than high ground, and that's why sometimes you get vision of stuff you shouldn't do, and sometimes where, you know, like you'll have like a bit on the ramp, if you stand there, you can't see the the high ground or whatever, it's because that part of the ramp will be low ground for some reason. It's all to do with the way the textures and the tiles work. It's kind of interesting. Like, Freakling is so unbelievably smart when it comes to maps. He really does know his stuff. And that's why so far 2 of his maps have got into the ASL. Like, Overwatch and Inner Coven. Both of them were very, very good maps. Inner Coven was obviously a lot more experimental, but it was still incredibly fun. We had a lot of really, really good games on it in Season 3 of the STPL, so regardless of what maps actually get into Season 4, which I think, to be honest, most of these maps probably will do, as long as they get fixed, obviously, I think we're going to see some good games on them. I don't... Wait, did Freakling make Polypoid? I don't think Freakling made Polypoid, did he? At least as far as I'm aware, as far as I'm aware, he didn't. Maybe I'm wrong. Didn't Freakling also make that map for Ladder, the Trey Pass one? Oh, looks like we've got LML coming in against the wall with the Reaver. The shuttle goes down though, but good Reaver Scarab so far. The Nexus not really helping out too much, but DeWalt is going to be able to hold on here by the looks of it. There is a Reaver, of course, which is going to do a lot of damage. The Zealot trying to catch this. If he can kill the Reaver, he's going to be in a good spot, but the Reaver does survive. Trey Pass was a really fun map to play. That was back when I was playing a lot, and it was genuinely one of my favorite maps to play. I like Pathfinder style maps, and that could be an indication of one of the maps that might be coming back for Season 3, but or Season 4, sorry. Wow, we're on Season 4 now. But I don't know, I need to announce the full map pool, but we'll get the map test tournaments done, we'll announce the map pool, and then we will go from there. So the final map test tournaments will be next weekend. It will be Rosenbridge, made by Gosomi, and also Desert Dwellers, made by Minerals. We did have 7 maps that made the final, but unfortunately Ducado, for whatever reason, waited until after the deadline to message both me and Freakling to say he's happy with his map, he's not going to be making any changes to it. So because he didn't put nearly as much effort in as anyone else, I've decided to disqualify his map from the proceedings, because Freakling pointed out a lot of glaring issues to me on that map when we put it through, but he said Ducado should be able to fix them, and then because he didn't even bother trying, I've just disqualified his map. I think he wasn't very happy that that map got in but not his other one, because he kept trying to push me to put in Marshmallow Toast, but I didn't want to use it, so there we go. Not to throw Ducado under a bus or anything, he is a very good map maker, but unfortunately in this instance he didn't make me very happy. So we've only got 6 maps in the final now. The map test tournament today was on Charmander, as I mentioned before. The one tomorrow is going to be on Paradise, which is another Gosomi map, Charmander being a Minerals map. If you want to play in the map test tournament tomorrow, there is a link on Team Liquid. I'm going to post it again. You can have a look at the maps that are coming up as well. And then later on today, I'm going to post the links to here. But looks like we're going to have DeWalt moving in here on to the natural. Both players do, of course, have their naturals ready. There's no shuttle back here, though, for LML, which is going to make this a lot harder for him to hold on to. The Reavers are not going to be able to get away. Looks like one of the Reavers has gone down for both sides. As long as this Reaver can do its work, he is going to be in a good spot. Can DeWalt get the Reaver? Oh, looks like LML got the Reaver, but the Reaver for him has fallen. It's 1 Dragoon against 4, and it looks like this is going to be the end of the game. The units from DeWalt still have a ton of health, of course. Defender's advantage can come into effect here, but DeWalt is up 15 workers, and that is when things become very, very risky, very fast, because that's a little bit rough. I don't know if there was maybe a little bit of a weird thing on the pathing, but looks like LML is going to be a little bit caught off guard there. I mean, he can stay in the game, But he is way too far behind. GG, there is the example of the low ground tile at the top of the ramp as well. So we will be back in just a moment with game number 2 of the finals. I'll see you guys very soon. Toss a coin to your content creators, oh Valley of Plenty, oh Valley of Plenty, oh. Toss a coin to your content creators, a friend of humanity. Okay guys, welcome back. We're going to be heading into game number 2 of the finals. If DeWalt can win this game, he will be getting the $50 or the $10 prize pool. I forgot to actually add the win for DeWalt, so let's do that quickly. And let's set the colors again, because that breaks that. There we go, that should be up to date again. Now, the cool thing is about this map, it's very standard. The games here have looked pretty fun, although we've only had PvP. But I mean, we do get a lot of PvP in the STPL main season as well, so it's not the end of the world. Yeah, this is a little bit of a shorter stream again today. We will obviously go back to sort of the normal streaming schedule when we get into the main season, which will be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 PM CET. Because by the time we start the main streams again, we will be heading into winter, so we won't have summertime anymore. Which before I would have been very happy about, because I usually hate summertime, but I must admit I'm going to be a little bit sad because my time difference is going to go from -8 hours to -9 with Japan, which is going to make it a little bit harder for me to hang around with the people I've been hanging around with this like last 4 or 5 months. I'll still get to hang around with them, but I'll miss out like an hour a day because rather than me getting on when it's their 1:30, it'll be their 2:30. I mean, I'm lucky that the people I hang around with hang around all night. So I do get to hang around with people until like 6 AM their time, but it does mean I guess I get like a little bit of extra time with people before I cast as well, which is nice. So time difference is a fun and annoying thing. It's also going to mess up my calculations of everything as well, because especially when I'm in VR chat, usually I'll work out my own time by basing on knowing what the time in Japan is and then counting backwards, because that for some reason is a lot easier for me to remember than what time it is in my own country. and it's going to mess up my maths for that, so that's going to be fun when that happens. But in terms of STPL, we're going to go back to the normal schedule, which is pretty good. We've got 1 gate for DeWalt, 2 gates for LML. Both players have gone in. Oh, sorry, 2 gates for both. That was after a gate into core. So it's going to be Dragoon versus Dragoon early on. Who is going to be the first player to go into a Robo? Looks like it's going to be DeWalt, already getting his probe down here, ready to build it. Oh no, this is the core, sorry. This was 2 gate before core, whereas this was gate core into gate. The second gateway is done for DeWalt a little bit earlier. My bad. Well, actually, interestingly, opting to go for 2 Zealots first, before, I guess his core is late, but going for 2 Zealots almost feels a little bit overkill, but then in that last game, his Zealots really helped him when he pushed, so, and it helped, wait, he was in the top right, so it actually helped LML in the first push to have those DeWalts, those Zealots, is what I tried to say. Now this actually 4 Zealots from DeWalt. This is not normal. Like, Protoss players don't normally go for this many early on. And it's because Zealots, before they get speed, can be out-microed by Dragoons. And you can see LML is already pushing across the map here. He knows it's only 4 Zealots. If he can micro this down, DeWalt is going to be in a lot of trouble. Of course, DeWalt does have the high ground. It's 5 Zealots now. And only 1 Dragoon. DeWalt actually sending his Dragoon out to the death here. This is a little bit uncharacteristic here of DeWalt, but I mean, it does give him time at least to build 2 additional Dragoons to sit on the high ground. There's no way LML is really going to be able to get up this high ground, but of course there is that weird low ground tile around here, I think, which allows you to see up the ramp. So let's see if that comes into play. Nope, looks like it's not going to. Oh, it kind of did. I don't know if that was that problem or if that was just normal though. But of course, this is a map test tournament. There will be some problems because they're not the final versions of the map. Just in case you're watching saying, well, this map's broken. But, well, it's a test tournament. This is what we're hosting it for. We want to find the problems and fix them before the main season. Realistically, we're at a point where LML cannot really push up this ramp. There's enough Zealots there to soak enough damage to make it basically impossible to break up, but he is going to be able to get that high ground vision because of the tiles at the edge of the cliff. But I mean, look how little damage these Zealots are actually taking. LML lost a Dragoon before DeWalt did. And now it's 4 Dragoons against 5 Zealots and 4 Dragoons. LML's going to have to fall back now. He pulls back to another 2. But the Zealots are just doing so much work here. It makes it so hard to engage Dragoons against Dragoons when you want Zealots chasing you. The Zealots do so much damage, you have to respect them. You can't just sit there taking damage. And if you're doing that, it means you're taking pot shots from the Dragoons as you're trying to go back. Looks like LML gonna move around the units, gonna try and run into the main here. DeWalt with a probe though, coming in at the perfect time to help block this for a while. And this is just gonna be 2 Dragoons. They're gonna be forfeit. Dragoons, I think, take about 6 shots to kill a probe, unless I'm wrong. Is it less? Oh no, it's 3 shots, sorry. 4 shots. Is it 4 shots? No, it should only be 2, right? Wait, what? I have no idea how damage works anymore. This is what happens when you don't cast forever, and when you don't play the game forever either. I've not played in so long. I need to play before the... Ah, okay, so LML said it depends, 3 consecutive shots or 4 if the time between the shots is high. Wait, how does that make any sense? It's 2020. I could get 3 because you've got the shield regenning, but how is it 4? How long would you have to wait for it to be 4? That's crazy. Is it because they don't do full damage to probes? Due to their type of attack or something? Ah, they don't do full damage for probes, okay. Yeah, I need to actually start playing again, but whenever I play Brood War, I just get frustrated with myself, so I kind of stopped playing and just started doing everything else. Ah, okay, so they do 20 to shield and 10 to hull because of the explosive damage. Okay, I didn't know that. That's a new thing for me to learn. Thank you. Thank you, Jeff. I think your name's Jeff. It's hard to read on the dark background. Well, DeWalt is definitely in a good position this game. We do have LML with a supply lead, along with the same number of probes. But obviously building a Nexus for him is going to be very difficult because he's going all in on 4 gateways. Can he break in? Can he kill DeWalt here? He needs to get these Reavers. If the Reavers kill all his Dragoons, it's game over. He's going to jump forward. There's no shuttle, but he's going to have to take damage to do it. And that could be enough to hold on to the game. And that could actually be enough to win DeWalt the prize. I mean, LML is still in an okay position. He's still, well, he's actually lost his supply lead, but a lot of his Dragoons are damaged from the Reaver from before, and the longer he leaves it, the more Scarabs there's going to be, the more units there's going to be to defend, but more and more Dragoons are coming in, so let's see if he can make this happen. Looks like a Dragoon got bored and went the wrong way, but that is a very normal thing for Dragoons to do, so... Here we go, we've got LML jumping in on top of the Dragoon, on top of the Reavers. He kills one of them, but in doing so loses most of his Dragoons, and GG. LML taps out, and DeWalt wins game number 2, and takes the series and the tournament for himself. So we only had PvPs on that map, hopefully, well, we had one PvZ. Hopefully you guys didn't mind it too much. There is a few little things we need to get fixed, like some high ground at the edge of the ramps by the looks of it, or some low ground on the top of the ramps. I'll bring that up to Fisheye and Goswami as well. It's good to know that that happened. It's good to know to find that out as well. But thank you very much for tuning in today, guys. I'm going to find someone to raid, and I'll see you guys probably on Wednesday for the next map test tournament. See you guys then.